this beautiful sunny Lamas day. This is the first harvest today, and interestingly, my friend, initiate, client, Lana, has been talking about my work today, and I was really thinking about her too this morning. So I'm going to invite Lana to come and chat with us today. But before I do that, and before we send our prayers to the tech gods for this to work, I just want to share a little bit about what we're doing. Lana and I are just going to be chatting, having a great chat about her and about how the last year has been for her, about her work, about who she is, what she shows up as, does in the world. And she specifically wants to talk to us about what the year-long work that she's been doing with me, what the initiation work, the group work that we've been doing together, which starts again in September with a new group, what that has brought for her. So I'm really excited to welcome. So Lana's been coaching for a little while, and Lana's coaching is shifting and changing as we talk. Here she is. Here's a lovely face. Hi, my darling. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Oh, so pleased to be here.
Yeah, really good to see you. Would you like to just tell us who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Lana Robinson. um, I live in Cheltenham and I came across Ruth's work back in July last year from a tattoo ritual ceremony. And yeah, I help women like stand in their body by getting kind of standing in their power first, I guess. So I have worked with women for about 7.5 years with health coaching. So that's what I do, is health coaching for women. And it's now really shifted into very much spiritually aligned health coaching from doing the work with you and really like owning who I am.
It's been such, I'm trying to think of the word now, let it drop in. A pleasure, a joy, inspiration, like watching you and being with you over this year. And that, so I had did I? No, it was a different tattoo ceremony. You had your tattoo ceremony on that's that one, on that
Yes.
beautiful day with Alice. And I just remember somebody in the group, you were like, what is this? What is this amazing place? What is this? What do you do here? And I said what I usually say, which is, I can't really explain to you what I do. Is there somebody, oh, you can explain to Lana what I do, because somebody had also, just like you have now, just completed the year-long initiation work with me, and it just flows through people so much more clearly than if I try and state through my human brain what it is I do. So it was such an exciting day to meet you, and I saw your immediate, oh yeah, well that's exactly what I meant to do. I don't need to know much more about it. And
Yeah.
you just stepped in, didn't you?
Yeah, it was actually pretty surreal because I was sat next to two women who were just initiated in their year long, and you had said, somebody else explain what I do. And the girls just looked at me and went, if you can do the year long, do it. And I was like, what's the year long? And they were like, your life will change. And I went, where do I pay? How do I join? I just had this, I didn't know what you did. I didn't know what shamanic work was. I didn't know anything. I just knew it was a soul calling. I had to do it. And that's very unlike me because I'm a details person. I'm like, give me all the facts, all the details. Let me think about it and intellectualize it. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know any of what any of the weekends were about. I just was like, do I want to be held and supported in my growth for the next year with women, in circle with women? Yes. That was all I needed to know. And I've just kept that faith like the whole way through, that everything that's been presented and has come up has been divinely perfect, and it has, and I've just kept stepping forwards and stepping forwards and stepping forwards, and my life is drastically different to July last year. Like I can't even begin to describe.
Mm. So we could go, let's see where we wanted to go. Shamanic. What's shamanic to you? What's this year been? What does shamanic mean based on what we've been doing?
For me, it's deeply connecting with the earth and with the cycles of what we work with, and like connecting with my body. And I'll never forget that first weekend that we met and we gathered, and it was all about what shamanism is, women's shamanism. And I remember sitting and within a couple of hours being like, where is the PowerPoint presentation? I need to learn things to write it down so I can feel like I've done something this weekend. And you kind of like sent us out to like just really observe the nature that we were in and like connect to it and look for the metaphors and the lessons. And I was like, what? I have to go and stand and look at a tree and see if it will talk to me? And now it's part of my daily practice. I can't not connect with the earth. And it's like this black fog has lifted and like the blinkers have gone. And I see, it's like I'm seeing things in color HD for the first time ever. So shamanism and shamanic work for me is like really reconnecting back to the cycle that is Mother Earth and everything that she has to offer, and all of the different realms and everything that goes with it. It was like so many pieces of the puzzle had always been missing, and then they slotted back into place. And with that came like really true and deep grounding that I had never experienced before. And also this real feeling of no matter what happens, I'm supported. And from someone who had had depression since they were 12, like that's something that's been a massive gap in my life, is that support and that being very like dysregulated nervous system. I didn't actually realize quite how still dysregulated I was until I started doing the work with you, and you taught us very simple tools to ground and reconnect. And now I'm like, oh, so chill.
It's so special to hear this, because it is the simplest things,
Yeah.
isn't it? And something that always strikes me, as I'm hearing you speak about it, is that, you know, we can go and do this course, we can go and do that course, but I think there's something, and as I'm saying this, I'll just voice it to everyone watching, like Lana knows this, but it's me showing up and delivering this, but this isn't me in my humanness delivering this work. This is something flowing through that is here for this time. And it's here because the whole world is shifting and changing completely into a new era. And that is why so many people are called to it. And that is why it's such a powerful thing to be doing right now. And the work itself, you know, we can go and do this course, we can go and do that course, but the work that we're doing here seems to be deeply changing for the better for a very large percentage of those that step in, quite dramatically so. And I think partly because of what I've just said, like it's time, it's absolutely time to do this. And partly because we're kind of touching, it seems to me that we touch on a lot of the things that we're all needing at the moment. It's nervous system help, it's sisterhood. We've talked about sisterhood wounding lots in this group. And actually in every group, there seems to be an enormous amount of healing of women together, because patriarchy has set us up to be against each other. And we very quickly learn and feel, because we're not learning here, are we? We're learning like by feeling it. It's like the deepest kind of learning. We're learning, oh, this is what this feels like. And we're building and creating trust and safety rather than saying this is a safe space. We're creating it together.
Yeah.
And then alongside that, we're connecting to nature and to the shamanic, to spirit, to energetic, to intuition. I'll just say that as the main one. Like the others might be a bit out there for some people, but intuition and reclaiming your inner knowing, because it's right there. And we've been told and taught by everything around us growing up that that's not as important as what you read in a book. And it's more important.
Yeah, all of that is just completely summarizes it. And I don't think I quite realized how much I was in my head. And even recently you reminded me, like, maybe don't intellectualize it, like maybe it'll just happen. I was like, of course, yes, it will just happen. And I knew before that I was a massive like feeler, like I'm a huge empath. I get, you know, massive goosebumps. I feel things, I feel energy, but I've never known what to do with it, how to ground and regulate myself, or how to express it. So it's all just gotten stuck because I've tried to give it words, labels, intellectualizing it, etc. And one of the biggest shifts for me has been like putting down the books, like the notebooks, the everything else, the PowerPoint presentations, and feeling into my body, into the emotions, and also allowing things to flow through has been just like really life changing.
Thank you so much for sharing that. We won't talk too long because I think it's always helpful to make these nice and short. What are the main things that you have taken away from this year so far?
Oh my gosh, I'll try and keep it short. So I think realizing my power and my truth and stepping into that. Also realizing that the world that we live in is not designed for us as women. And finally the penny clicked, like the penny dropped with that. I was like, right, I need to shift in order to kind of match it. The so much work like around boundaries and around shadow work. Also, I said to you just before we started this, like with my work in general, I came into this year with a complete, like, you know, I've had so many mentors. I'm always investing in my personal development, whether it's business or like personally. And I hadn't found the answers that I was searching for. And I didn't come into this work to find those answers with my work, but they've been found, like, and not through talking about business with somebody, not through intellectualizing things, just by feeling. And I said to you before we started this, I feel like very, very comfortable now with sitting in the uncomfortableness, which is something I've never been able to do. And I think my biggest shift this year has been stepping out of a very masculine way of living, like the do, the grind, the hustle, like consistently really playing to that patriarchy, and stepping into my like womanhood and stepping into my divine feminine, and also being allowed to be supported by both. So like letting that wounded masculine really die away and sitting in the uncomfortableness, and also just sitting in the being and the waiting. That's been transformative. And I noticed that because we meet every other month in person. I noticed every other month it was shifting and changing. Like before, I'd come on the weekends, I'd have almost like it would start 2 weeks before. I'd be like, I have to get everything done with work, and like I'd go into this panic, and then I'd do the weekend, and then I'd have this kind of, whoa, the stuff would come up afterwards because you're integrating. And now I kind of, the last few weekends, I've been like, oh, I'm at Ruth's tomorrow, because I'm just consistently in this place of like regulation, allowing the flow, and also, able to do the things I need to do, but not from a wounded, like hustly place. So that's been probably the most transformative. It's my balance between like masculine and feminine energy as somebody who is naturally very masculine.
Yeah. Or had been trained to be.
Well, yeah. yeah, and actually had never been taught to what it was like to surrender to the feminine and what that actually means as a woman. No one's ever explained it, or at least told me in a way of feeling. I've read it in books, but I've never felt it. And you gave me the tools to feel what it was like, and actually have the experience. I think that's what this whole year is it's about putting down like intellectualizing and stepping into the experience of it. And I feel like at every opportunity I've done that as much as I can. I've just gone like, just step in.
And you really have, you really stepped in, and that is everything that I could possibly ask for. And this next group, I'll talk about that in a minute, because you said something earlier that my spidey senses set off. That was something, I think it was when you mentioned business. And something in my intuition just went, that's important to speak of here. So is there anything I need to say about that? No, there's something you need to say about that, apparently. What about business and this work?
What about business and this work? For me, or in general?
Whatever feels right.
I've coached women for 7.5 years, and about 2 years ago noticed like a massive disconnect from what I was doing. Like it was always like weight loss for women and coming across in that way, as opposed to like all round kind of health coaching. And the last like 4 months, I've really, I'm trying to think of the right words that I'm trying to say now, because I've got lots of different things coming in. I think I was trying with my business, I thought I should be, and what my maybe business mentors had said from a very masculine perspective, because I've actually only ever had male business mentors apart from one, which I realized a few years ago. I was like, of course, my business is very masculine. And now I feel like I'm very much kind of birthing into a new space with my business, finally, in a way that's aligned to me. Because actually in our group, there's a lot of women who have their own businesses. And I think a lot of women naturally are attracted to you that do have their own businesses. But we can really run them from quite an unaligned place because of things like social media and all of the rest of the chatter. And I never came to you for business coaching, but I think it's been more transformative than any business coaching that I've had. You know, I've got years of experience, but actually having that ability to know that something needed to die in order to let the new in, and being okay with that, to let go. And the moment I let go, I then now have started to birth this very much spiritually aligned health coaching, which is about helping women stepping into their power by stepping into their body first, because that's what I'm really passionate about, is your body. But it's amazing how much of a disconnect was still there for me, even maybe without my own body, until I started doing this work with you.
Amazing. And one of the bits in that I'm hearing is what I'm focusing on with this work, really at its core, is what is your magic?
Yes.
Like, you are the magic. I'm not teaching you something specific. We'll learn things, but what we're trying to do, and what we do through the year, is we're like, oh, here's something that you are really good at, and here's something that she is really good at, and here's something, and we're like lifting each other up and exploring and enjoying each other's magic. And that then means that we go out into the world and go, this is my flavor, this is who I am. And it's not bad because it's different, it's really good because it's completely unique. And not only is it completely unique, but it's true and it's real. And if it's true and real and alive within us, then other people are going to get the most out of that. And at the same time, you are going to enjoy doing it like nothing else, because it's just going to feel easy and flowing and beautiful at the same time.
And it's that like permission to go, I am like me, and this is my magic. And you said something on our last weekend, which was finding your language. And I was like, And I think that's why I'm struggling to answer like part of the business stuff, because I'm like, I don't have the language yet for what I do. Like I'm still in the roots, like under the soil, and I'd been like this wiltering flower on the outside for ages, banging my head against a brick wall of something I no longer aligned with. And now I'm like the roots in the soil, and I'm like really enjoying the darkness of it, to let all of the magic like percolate to then come out. And when it comes out, I will have the language. But right now, I'm like, just, yeah, just things are just happening. But it's, I think you've allowed us to step into that permission to go, I'm different and I'm magic and I'm everything that I should be. And so are you, and so are you, and so are you. And it's really healing on that sister wound, that there is no competition, there is no hierarchy, there is no anything, because if collectively we all stand in our own power and like really own who we are, then everybody just like comes together and supports each other. And that's been really beautiful. And also it means that you can fully allow the flow of it. You know, like if you want to do something, go and do it. Like who's telling you that you can't do it? It's only yourself. And when you unpick and kind of look at that, like the amount of freedom I've had this year, even just like working, you know, if I before, especially the first few weekends we had together, I was still in a place of pushing my mouse around the screen for 7 hours a day just because I felt I had to work a 7-hour day. Now I'm like, I do 2 hours and then I go and lie in the sun and read my book. And that's my job, like today, you know, and that real permission to step into that and be like, that's okay.
And it's more than okay, isn't it? It's actually even more
It
productive.
is. Oh my God, so much more productive.
Because so much drops in
Yeah.
when you are in that rest space. I
Yeah.
sometimes find if I give myself a whole day of rest, I'll be lounging, I'll be walking, I'll be doing whatever. And halfway through the day, I'm like, there's so many ideas. I'm
Yeah.
just going to have to go and do some work. Like,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
really want it and it's like brimming, you know,
Yeah.
I don't have to search and root for it, you know?
Yeah. I think I wasn't giving myself any space before. Like I was smothering and there was no space to allow in the thing. I was very like blinkered. I thought I wasn't, but now I'm like, oh wow. And I'm sure I'll do it again in a year's time and go, God, I thought I was all open then. Look at me now. But I think something I said to you a few weekends ago was on our gatherings was I've really realized that the magic is in the being, not the doing. And that is like a deep lesson that I've learned this year is I don't need to be doing all of the time to get what I want or where I want to be or whatever it is. Actually, more happens when I be than when I do.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Is there
Thank you.
anything you want to end on? Is there anything else you want to say? That feels like a beautiful one to me, but if there's something alive that you want to drop in, you're really welcome
I
to.
think when I first sat in that room with you on the tattoo ritual and I didn't know anything about what any of the work that you did, and the women turned to me and said, if you can do it because it will change your life. If you're watching this video and you're like, if I can do it, it will change my life, then do it, because it has totally changed my life and will continue to do so. And I am deeply, deeply grateful for you, Ruth, and the space that you hold and the work that you do. It just utterly transformative, utterly transformative. So if you're watching this video and you're just thinking, I'm curious about this year long, or I'm feeling the pull, go for it. You won't look back.
Thank you so much. You brought tears to my eyes. And yeah, I'm interested in the most aligned.
Yeah,
If you're like feeling that, oh yes,
this is me.
then that I want to hear from
Yeah,
you. So
yeah,
feel it. If you feel it, if it's feeling like a big tug, just get in touch. We'll talk about all the details, whatever you
yeah,
need.
yeah.
And if you're feeling that pull to this beautiful woman here, then get in touch with her, because she will be your person.
Yeah. If you are someone that has, yeah, ever kind of struggled with their health or their body or their relationship with their body and food, then I am so your woman for that. So if you feel a pull, then please reach out.
Thank you so much. Sending you loads of love.
Yeah.